For my research project, I have chosen Roger Sherman. He's an often overlooked founding father, but had many contributions in our nation's founding. The Connecticut Judicial Branch.gov lists him as the only man to sign all four important documents of the American Revolution. He signed the Article of Association in 1774. He signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776. He signed the Articles of Confederation in 1781. And then he signed the U.S. Constitution in 1787. My research looks to prove that Roger Sherman was a major contributor to our nation's founding and should not be overlooked. Roger Sherman was born on April 19th, 1721, in Newton, Massachusetts. His family were farmers. His father was a deacon in a church, and as you study Roger Sherman, you'll find out that, unlike many of our founding fathers, he never was ashamed of his faith, and he always stood firm on it. His mother, Elizabeth Hartwell Sherman, managed the household as most women of that time did. Roger grew up with a very limited formal education as a young child. Most of his learning came from his father's influence and his desire to have self-study. In his early 20s, Sherman moved to New Milford, Connecticut, where he began his career as a surveyor and later became a successful merchant. His growing interest in law led him again to study for himself, so he began to study legal text, and by 1754, Sherman had been admitted to the bar, and he started practicing law in New Milford, where he began his career in public service. Sherman's entry into politics came through his election to the Connecticut General Assembly in 1755. His reputation for integrity and legal expertise soon propelled him into broader public roles. During the American Revolution, he was elected as a delegate to the Continental Congress, where he played a major role in shaping the early governance of the new nation. He was a member of the committee that drafted the Declaration of Independence and had significant contributions in many other areas, one of which was his work on the Articles of Confederation, the first governing framework for the United States. Sherman's most notable achievement came at the Constitutional Convention of 1787, where he was a key figure in devising the Great Compromise, also known as the Connecticut Compromise. And that compromise balanced the interests of states with large populations and small populations by creating a bicameral legislation, or a legislation that had two branches or two chambers, which became the cornerstone of the U.S. Constitution. Sherman's approach of being sensible or realistic helped him to resolve one of the convention's most contentious issues, contributed significantly to the formation of the federal government. After the Constitution was ratified, Sherman continued to serve his country. He was elected as a U.S. Senator from Connecticut, serving from 1789 to 1791, and then as a U.S. representative until his death. His tenure in Congress was marked by his efforts to solidify and implement the new government structures established by the Constitution. Roger Sherman passed away on July 23rd, 1793 in New Haven, Connecticut, and despite his significant contributions to the American government, his legacy is sometimes overshadowed by the other founding fathers. Nevertheless, Sherman's impact on the U.S. Constitution and his role on the early American politics remain vital to the understanding of this nation's founding.